today, I know for a fact today is the 13th of July because my brother's birthday is tomorrow. So thumbs up, give a clap, all that goodness, because my brother's birthday, God willing, everything's gonna work itself out, is tomorrow. On my way to group therapy, I got into a big old argument with myself, but for the sake of the story, I'm going to say I got into an argument with Nancy. It's funny how it started. So I'm on the way to group therapy, driving, and Nancy just comes off saying, well, you know, a couple years ago when you started to vlog and you wanted to become the spokesperson for juicing. And I was like, you know what? I did. I was obsessed with juicing. That's true. And I kind of started to chuckle about it. Like, yeah, I was all about juicing. And then what happened was Nancy was like, you're going to raise awareness for mental health in the African American community. Really? And for those who haven't watched Kevin Hart talks about why are black women so suspicious.
And I go, I was playing ping pong. And then her black girlfriend pop out and she like, ping pong. Really? I'm in trouble.
So when she says that, I'm driving, but a part of me is dying to the point that I miss my turn to group therapy. Like, I'm driving and I turned too soon. I am dying. So she said, you got bipolar too. Really? Like, I think it's so funny. Nancy's having this repertoire in the car, just me and her. Laughing, it turned just that quick. And she's like, see, that's what I don't understand. I don't understand why you have to become the spokesperson for this stuff. I don't understand why you have to post these pictures, because I had just posted a picture talking about labels, because I have read about why it's hard, women, not just people, but basically black women, because it's really frowned upon about black women to say that they need help and they need to go to therapy. And the premise behind that is, if you got through slavery, you can get through this. You know, just pray to Jesus and get over it, you know? And immediately, not that I did it, because y'all, I'm driving, but I'm just gonna say my self-esteem and inside of me kind of cowered and put her head down and like, you're right, you know, who am I to raise awareness? Who am I? Thank God also me and J. Rao goes to church and we go to Bible study and we're under wonderful leadership. And one thing about leadership, being under good leadership, is that you have to know your father's voice. So what happened was I immediately heard, what about the Wright brothers? And as soon as I heard the Wright brothers, I'm telling you, spiritually, my chest kind of stuck up. And I'm like, yeah, what about the Wright brothers? What about, and then I just started looking, in my mind, I just started like, yeah, what about the Wright brothers? Nancy. What about Noah's Ark? Nancy. What about Martin Luther King? Nancy. God told Noah to build the ark in the desert. It took almost 100 years. Noah didn't know how to build no ark. God told him to build the ark in the desert. It took 100 years. You don't think people, his grandmother and his aunt was looking, even his wife was out there like, God told him to build the ark in the desert because there was going to be a flood. You don't think people looked at him like he was crazy? But when God calls you to do something, when you have a purpose, when you have a calling over your life, or you see a need for something, you have to speak up. And don't get me wrong, I don't want to sound like a narcissist. I don't think that I'm the next Martin Luther King. I don't think that I'm the next Noah's Ark, or I don't think I'm the next George Washington Carver. But the point of it is first you have to know your father's voice. So when that voice starts telling you, you can't do this, you're doing the most, why you gotta do all that? It don't take all that. It does take all that, especially when you are doing something productive. Raising awareness about mental health per se is not saying that I'm not telling anybody that they have to take medication. I'm not telling everybody in America that they're bipolar or they have a mental health disorder. All I'm saying is that if you are feeling sad, or if you're feeling, depressed, it's okay to say I'm not okay, so you can therefore speak to someone. Just talking to a girlfriend, your mother, your aunt, a sister friend. And it's so funny because I'm in the parking lot, like literally, and I wasn't no, I ain't even gonna lie, I was talking, because by then I was on, when you win in an argument, you getting in good. Yeah, Nancy, sometimes you got, if you know something, you got to tell somebody, So I'm arguing with Nancy, and to the point I could hear Nancy go, I'm sorry. That never happened. Spirituality is more than just going to church, raising your hands, falling all out, running in a circle. You have to know the word, you have to know the Bible, and faith comes by hearing. So even if you just put the like the app, you read the app and you put the headphones in, and you don't, thank you, Holy Spirit. I just feel like this needs to be said. I don't know who this needs to be said to, but I'm saying you don't just have to listen to the King James Version. In the Common English, it comes in NIV, it comes in, all this stuff. And if your church home doesn't have Bible study, that is your responsibility to take that into consideration. I'm not saying to leave, but you got to take that consideration, and just going to church on major holidays, you got to take that into consideration. You have to feed yourself, and knowing the word is not just listening to your grandma or listen to your pastor. You have to understand it for yourself. You have to know your Father's voice, because if you don't know your Father's voice, when those other voices come and attack you, they will eat you alive, man. They will eat you alive. They will eat, as Karen liked to say, they will eat your lunch. They will eat your lunch, and they will take you out, man. So I go to set the captives free. It's in Liberty Road. It's a non-denominational church. No church is perfect. I'm not clearly. Look around, people. I'm not perfect, but the resources are there. It is so many different classes. We're like 2 classes around, and from somebody who hasn't finished anything except childbirth, and sometimes that's pretty much because you don't have a choice. Once they start crowning, it doesn't stop. You ask somebody how they are doing. Stop what you're doing. Listen to what they're saying. It could literally save a life.